Alright, this video is going to be on how to change the oil on a 2013 Softail Deluxe, Harley Davidson Softail Deluxe, with a 103 cubic inch engine. And I'm going to start by draining the crankcase. And if you go under here, under the frame, there's a 5/8 inch drain plug down there, and that's where we're going to drain the oil. Alright, so I've got my 5/8 inch wrench on there. I'm going to loosen it pretty close until I feel it about ready to come off, and then we'll stick the drain pan under there when we're real close. Okay, so it's close. See if we can get it with our finger from here, which we can. Take that baby off, and it's going to drain slow until we take the dipstick out. So coming up here, we're going to pull that out, and then we'll watch the difference in flow once it's out. There we go. Now it'll start coming out a lot faster. Alright, so here's the plug, and it's pretty good. We had the dealership do the first 1,000 mile, but from this point we'll do it ourselves. So we're doing the 5,000 mile fluid change on this one. And the oil ring is wore pretty bad on this. You'll get about 2 uses out of it before you have to change it. And you can see it's flattened pretty bad, so we'll end up replacing that. And then we got to get the thread lock off there. Actually, it's not even thread lock, it's liquid Teflon for a seal. Alright, so now while that's draining, came around to the other side, to the front of the bike, and this is where the oil filter is. I'm going to try to stick some towels under there a little bit so we don't make such a mess. And got this oil filter wrench. Should be able to get them online, Amazon, maybe a few dollars. Just makes it easier to get the filter off. There's lots of different kinds. So then we take it, stick it on there, and all we're going to do is use this to break the seal. Alright, so we're just breaking it loose. It's tight. We didn't do it the first time. Dealership did the first 1,000 miles. I had to get a different extension set on it. It's too tight, actually. So we'll just break that seal like that. You'll feel it break. And then you can take the whole assembly off and get the rest of it off with your fingers. Now, as you get this off, when it starts to come off, if you lean it backwards, you'll catch most of the oil in the filter that's in there, and hopefully not make such a mess. Okay, so we had a little problem here, and they did it so tight that the seal busted out of it and made a pretty big ass mess, to be honest with you. So you're not supposed to put them on that tight. We'll show you how to properly put these on. That's why I like to do my own oil changes, is because you never know what somebody else is doing. Okay, so we got the plug, put a new O-ring on there, and we're going to use a little bit of liquid Teflon. Doesn't take much, just provides a little bit of extra seal, and it also will keep it from vibrating loose. The dealership had used Teflon tape, which I don't like as much, so I used the liquid Teflon instead. Okay, so it stopped dripping pretty much. Get under here, you can kind of see the hole, and we're going to put the plug back in now. There's the plug, it's all cleaned. There was no metal shavings on it or anything, so I'm pretty happy about that. I used my finger to get it in there. I don't put a wrench on it until I get it started to be threaded, because I don't want any cross threading to take place. Use your 5/8 inch socket, get it on there and tighten it up. Book recommends using a torque wrench. You can if you have one. I have one. I don't use it on this. I've been doing oil changes forever, so I just do it. I can feel the little rubber O-ring tighten up, and I know it's good. So there's that. Now we got to put the oil filter in. Okay, here's the oil filter. One that came off was chrome. I don't use chrome. It's a matter of personal preference. You save $3 with the black one anyways, and unless you're into showing your bike off or something, you know, you may, just up to you really. So we're going to take the filter out, And what I do is I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the filter, because what will happen is if you use the filter empty, it's going to have to fill that filter up and take about, I'd say about a third of a quart of oil, maybe a quart of oil. So we're going to put some in there. It's about a quart. Swirl it around until it works into the filter. Then I'm going to make a little bit of a mess here. We're going to take some of the oil and we're going to put it around the seal. So get it on your finger, get it on that seal. What this will do is, as you tighten it, it's going to prevent that seal from bunching up on you and possibly coming off like it did from when we took it off and it was too tight. And we're going to grab the filter here, stick it on there. Since I didn't fill the filter, you don't really have to worry about spilling oil. And then what you're going to do is, if you got a chrome one, make a mark on it, and you're going to tighten this thing by hand, half a turn to 3/4 of a turn. This is a black one, so I'm going to make a mark with a marker. You won't be able to see it on the video though, and then just hand tighten it half a turn. Now that we got the filter on and we've drained the oil and put the plug back in with a new O-ring, we're going to go ahead and fill the tank, the oil tank. So this is where you pull out your owner's manual, and for the Softail Deluxe with the 103, it says no more than 3.5 quarts. So we're gonna put about 3.5 quarts in, and we'll leave it at that. We'll ride it for a few days, and then we'll check it just to be sure once the oil is hot, because you're supposed to check it hot, and add more in a couple days if we need to. Okay, we're using the Syn 3 full synthetic motorcycle lubricant. It's actually 60/40, but they say it's full synthetic. It's the 20 weight 50. You can use it in all three holes. It's your crankcase, your transmission, and your primary. I've been using it in my Street Glide for almost 2 years now. Got 40,000 miles on the bike in less than 2 years, and never had a problem, never have any wear. So I know a lot of people like to use some other brands of oil. Screaming Eagle oil works great. Gets sometimes 105, 110 here in Texas. Ride with it just fine with no problems. All right, now we're going to do the transmission. Transmission on the Softails is a little bit tricky. You got to get actually under here, and I'm going to try to get the camera under there, and it's right under there. Well, the thing about it is you can get a socket on there to loosen it, but you can't get it out with the socket because it will hit the sides of the shock absorbers. So then you have to get the rest of it out with an Allen wrench. Okay, so I got the wrench on there. I'm kind of lay the GoPro down there, and I'm going to loosen it. Okay, so I got it loose. Then you got to get your Allen wrench under here, and I'm going to try to get it where you can see it, because I can't see under there. There you go. And that's it. And then you take it out and let it drain. Okay, so you see I just pulled it down with the Allen wrench. And now we got to take the plug out, or the dipstick out. Okay, so we're getting an Allen wrench in there. And we're going to take the dipstick out now. Loosen it. It's really hard to get in here on the Softails. I don't like it. It's loose. All right, so we broke it loose. And we're going to pull the dipstick out. And there it is. It's drained now, and you're going to get some oil all over your shock absorbers there, so I take a shop towel, just clean it off a little bit. We're going to wash the bikes, because I just did a 2012 Street Glide as well, and we'll wash all the oil and stuff afterwards. Try to get up there in the hole. You're going to want to dry the oil off up there as much as you can before you put your plug in. And we're going to try to do this with the GoPro in there. It's kind of hard to see, especially with the GoPro in there. Move it back a little bit so I can get my Allen wrench in there. Got to put this in with an Allen wrench. You can't do it with a socket because the socket won't fit. And I do it all the way by hand so I don't cross thread it. And then once I feel the O-ring grab, I will change out the Allen wrench for a socket and finalize the tightening then. So it's I got it on with the Allen wrench, and then we're just going to tighten it up final with the socket wrench. That's it. So you got to use a pretty long funnel on this to reach down in there. And while my wife holds the GoPro, we're going to measure out 28 ounces. Okay, so we got the transmission fluid in there. We're going to stick the dipstick in there. And I don't really know how I'm going to get GoPro of this. Basically, we're just going to turn it until we see the O-ring or feel the O-ring touch the base. Then we're going to take it back out and we'll check the level. I'll edit it. Okay, so we put it in, took it out. It's hard to see on these Harleys. They chrome plate it, but it is. It's right at the top of the full line there. And that was 32 ounces. It's one quart. It took a little more than the 28. And that's about it for that. Now we got to put it back in. Next, we're going to do the primary. When we do the oil changes on both bikes, I do all 3 holes every time. It just doesn't cost that much more when you're doing it yourself instead of taking it to the shop. This will be the first time that we've done it. She just hit 5,000 miles on the bike in 8 months, so pretty proud of her, and we'll be taking care of the rest of this from here on out as well. So we take our 5/8 inch wrench, which is the same on all these plugs, and it's right up under there, and we'll take it out and start the drain. Okay, we got it draining. We'll take the inspection cover, clutch inspection cover off here in a minute. Same thing, check your plug. She's got actually no wear at all, hardly at all. O-ring even looks pretty good on this side. We'll probably just leave the O-ring on this one. Now we're going to take the clutch inspection cover off. I'm just going to loosen all the bolts with a wrench, and then I can be able to get it by hand after I loosen it. We'll do the top one last. It'll make the cover easier to get off. 2 more to go. You can kind of hold it. Nothing's going to come out. We've already drained it. Besides that, it doesn't fill over the edge of the cover itself. Hold it, and you can just let it drop off into your hand. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wipe this out. It's pretty clean. Really impressed here. What you don't want to do is you don't want to pull this O-ring out or this seal out and wipe it too much, because when it's hot, it'll stretch and you'll never get it back in. Then you'll be making a trip back up to the dealership to get a replacement. I just leave it in. It doesn't leak. You can put it right back on with it in there after you clean the cover off. So we're just going to prepare our plug. We're going to put a little bit of liquid Teflon on there. I did go ahead and change the O-ring after I started getting the Teflon tape they had put on there. I noticed that it did have some fraying going on, so it's just better to do it. I mean, they're cheap enough, and we have a whole bunch of them anyway. So there we go. We got this prepared to put on. Okay, wipe down here where the hole is real good. I stick my finger up in there a little bit. That way I can get as much of the oil before I put my plug in there. Do it by hand so that you don't cross thread. And then once it's snug, you can put your 5/8 wrench back on and do your finalized tightening. It's supposed to be 14 to 21 foot-pounds, but I just do it by hand. I kind of know by now how much it takes. That's it. Okay, this is what we use for your funnel. You can use a regular funnel. If you look over here real close, there's a notch in there, and if you get a fine nose funnel, it will fit in there and you can hold it. But this little gizmo, you can probably get them on Amazon. It just sits right in there. The notch fits in there and allows you to just pour it directly in. It's just easier. So on this bike, this one takes, according to the owner's manual, if you look here, 32 ounces. What you don't want to do on this is you don't want to go over, because if you go over, it's going to be too wet, and you might never get it in neutral. Or if you don't get enough in there, you might not. It won't shift smooth. So it is a pretty fine line as far as how many ounces over or under you go. So just put the recommended amount, and you won't have any problems with your shifting. So go over here and just pour in a whole quart, because the quart's 32 ounces. You don't even have to measure on this one like you do with street glides, for instance. Okay, so the oil's in. Wipe the case down again real good, and we're going to put the cover on. Usually you'll mark it, but we're using the stock cover, so we're just going to put it on with the 103 up, and we know it's good. Some guys use custom covers. At that point, you need to mark it, so you get it back on at the right spot. You'll feel the seal grab. Get all 5 of them on. Just snug it up, because when you tighten it, you're going to go in a certain pattern, and that will help set the seal so that it's flat and it won't leak. Okay, so we're going to start up here at the top. Tighten that one. Come down here. Tighten that one up to 9 o'clock position, 2 o'clock position, and about 7 o'clock position. Then we'll go back and we'll do it again, and you'll feel when it's tight. It's undeniable. And we're using a T27 Torx wrench here, by the way, too, is the size. So, and that's all there is to it. That finishes it off. You can wipe it off. We're going to go ahead now and wash them, give them a good soapy bath, get any of the oil off and road grime and grasshoppers and all that good stuff that you get on them. So hope that helps. It'll save you a lot of money doing oil changes yourself. Depending on the filter, if you get a chrome versus a black, or if you need O-rings or not. Oil change will cost you about $83 on a bike, and that's all 3 holes. Dealership prices are around $420 if you go to a Harley dealership to do what we just did in 1 hour ourselves. So, and they're, as you can see with the filter, the problems we had, it's not necessarily going to be done correctly. You'll have the peace of mind that your oil change is right. So you'll pocket a lot of money and know a little bit more about your bike in the process. Hope you enjoy the video, and I hope this helps you out. Okay, since we did both bikes at the same time, made 2 separate videos, I did want to let everybody know that we do have more maintenance tips and things that you can do on your own to save a whole bunch of money if you just want to spend a little bit of time working on your bike. Easy stuff. You don't need a lot of special tools for it. Most tools you can get on Amazon, have it shipped right to your house, not even have to go shop. But anyways, rumblingrider.com is my blog. We got maintenance tips, riding videos, and just basically motorcycle things dealing with tourer riding. So once again, that's rumblingrider.com, and hope to see you there, and hope some of the videos help you.